Hey my friends, welcome back to AttractPassion. This is your confirmation that new doors are opening for you. If you've come across this video, I want to remind you that whatever you've started, probably a long time ago, things are unfolding for you. And even if you may not realize how many results are already happening in the background of everything you're putting in, all the efforts you're putting into the work, with a dream and a vision of accomplishing what you wish to see in your life, things are evolving. I want to remind you that the seeds of your efforts are growing, your energy is rising and strengthening. So firstly, I want to explain you what it means when I say to you that your energy is rising and strengthening. So you may realize that at the moment when you've decided that you want to work on yourself, that you want to develop your abilities, whatever it is, maybe you've recognized a sense of a talent, that you are unique at something, that what you love to do feels really special. Every time you're doing that, you experience a sense of joy deep inside of your soul. At the moment you made a decision that you want to work on it, that you want to develop those capacities that you have, you've started strengthening your energy system. Why? Because suddenly you've started paying more attention to what makes you unique. And maybe you may say, well, I haven't started doing that. But a fact that you've come across this video means that you've started awakening some curiosity for those things, which means that your energy is already rising. Most of people are just passing by, just walking through life, not being aware that life is nothing else but a school of lessons from which we are learning so we can develop the character. For example, before you go to sleep, if you reflect your day, if you close your eyes for 4 to 5 minutes and you just reflect your day, you will notice that there were some moments in a day where you've fallen off the grace, where you've fallen off that state that you want to be in. And those are the moments, if we reflect them, we can observe them from a higher point of view. And we recognize, well, next time I will try to stay more aware. I will try to be more focused. I will try to be more conscious in that kind of an event. And every time we do that, we develop our character. We start implementing more of that intellectual understanding into our awareness that can be downloaded into what before were just automatic patterns. Now we are designing more conscious ones. And as we do that work, we strengthen the energy in our body. It's just a simplified explanation of what a neuroscientist would explain to you, that you start rewiring your brain. And it is an important work, and I want to remind you that to everyone who came across this video, that your energy is rising and strengthening. And also you may say, well, it doesn't feel like that, like I'm not feeling stronger than a week ago or something like that. But you see, a law of soul evolution works all the time. We are evolving all the time. But evolution is so gentle and so tiny sometimes. You know, tiny little changes we make on moment by moment basis. Sometimes we don't even recognize. If we look back years ago, we may notice that we are not the same. But if we look back into yesterday or a previous week, we may say like not much changed. But on a long run, the small changes will create big results. That's why if we stay reminded that we are making results, can uplift our spirits a little bit. So you can go from that state of being kind of victimized because you think nothing is changing. You go into the state where you appreciate the small steps you took small steps every single day, like the moment when you grab a book and you read a few pages and then you reflect on what you've read, or you watch a video and then you reflect on what you've heard and how to implement what you've learned, and how to practice what inspired you, and how to embody more of your soul, more of that joy that you feel for yourself, how to be more of yourself, right? Every time you reflect on that, you notice that you will try to do better than you did last time at whatever it is. And that is a great improvement. That is a great strength you're building, right? So be confident about your future. I want to remind you that. What it means. Well, most people are dwelling in the past just because they don't deal with unpleasant emotions that may arise every time they think about their past. But emotions have an important function. Like, all emotions are important. Because of emotions we can learn and overgrow something that is bothering us, where we just become more aware and we change the pattern, right? So to be confident about the future, we firstly need to accept the past. We need to get in peace with our past, and it's not an easy job, especially if you've been through something traumatic, right? It's not an easy job, and for that you need to be patient and compassionate towards yourself. So when you're thinking about your past, see how what you've been through. Let's say there's a certain specific event that happened, like you said something you shouldn't say, or you did something you shouldn't do, or you were unauthentic and you would like to be more authentic. You can reflect that event and just ask yourself, just for a moment, ask yourself, what did joy and pain brought to you? What did contentment and discontentment show you? Or what is joy or pain justify? You know, what it shows to you? Like, what can you learn? If you would be more confident in that experience, in that event, how differently would you behave? Like, who would you be if you would not have that fear or that shame or guilt or worry or sadness or whatever it was? How differently would you behave? And see if could you apply it next time it happens, because it will happen, because it's most probably related to your karmic cycles. Most probably you're here to overcome those emotions, and we need certain events that awaken this kind of emotion so we can overcome the pattern, right? So we can transmute the energy and transcend ourselves into the greater version of us. And that is actually the beauty of the process, but it's not an easy process. That's why it's repeating over and over again. But every time it repeats, you're a bit wiser. And that's how wisdom is growing. So everything will unfold much better than you can currently imagine. Whatever that future version of your reality is, everything will unfold much better than you can currently imagine. But you need to be confident about your future. So make sure that you have that precise idea of certain things that you want to experience. And don't just wish for them to happen. Don't just wait for the right moment that they can appear. You need to understand that you are the saver of your life. And that is an important understanding, because many people wait. Many people wait that somebody will save them. But during the phase of waiting, you could actually focus on what's in your power to do right now. Could you work on strengthening your mind? Could you work on creative expression? Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you're a musician and you're finding ways to make a living out of your passion. And there's many fields that if you would get the right knowledge, you could enter into those different spheres in which you could start to make income with what you're doing, with your passions. But it means that you need to learn the right skills, you need to learn the right knowledge, and for that we need time. So you see, at the moment or at the times when you're waiting and falling into the slower emotional states of sadness and feeling disempowered, feeling like you can't do anything, rather immerse yourself into knowledge, into research. Like, how can I become better at this? Because there's always infinite possible ways to expand yourself in certain areas. But we firstly need to have an intention for that. So we can give a signal like, I'm ready to learn, and the universe will bring to you the right knowledge that will help you to expand yourself in those areas. Remember, everything is mental. The law of mentalism, everything is mental, everything is happening in your mind. Once you go beyond emotional reactions, and how to go beyond emotional reactions, you need to get into a state of an observer, which is a state like you would be observing your life from your higher self point of view, which means that you imagine looking down onto yourself and seeing how your life is right now. And from that point of a higher self, you don't fall into emotional sensations. You just see the patterns why something is the way it is. And every time you reflect your life without an emotional reaction, you can set an intention for a better understanding. Like, I want to know how to deal with that better. And then you need to accept the fact that everything takes time. But you can ask for a sign that you are supported. You can ask for a sign that you can feel safe, that you can feel at ease while you're studying that subject. But you need to make sure that you do your best. Because if you're not doing your best, you're not proving to yourself that you are capable of doing that. And you will never know if that is the thing that will really satisfy your soul. So you need to do your best. When you're studying, do your best at studying. When you're practicing, do your best at practicing. When you are researching, do your best at researching. When you're making products or whatever it is, do your best at making that. And make sure that whatever you're doing is for the greater good of all, because only that way you will not burn out. Only that way you will stay inspired and motivated to make things happen. That's when the universe will support you, and everything, all the forces will help you to get to where you want to be. So everything will unfold much better than you can currently imagine. And in order to stay in that flow, make sure that you have a certain plan, something that helps you to stay in alignment with that vision that you have, or with that idea, or however you call that. Make sure that you have a certain plan. Make sure that you stay focused on taking action, because there will be times where you will feel unmotivated and uninspired, and those are the days that are teaching you to recognize how to cope with those energies, how to cope when you feel lazy, what's more important to you. Can you balance yourself? Can you find the middle point? Like, for example, sometimes we feel lazy, but we're actually just tired. And we need to recognize, am I lazy right now or am I exhausted? And that's where we need to find the difference, because if you're lazy, you may blame yourself. But if you recognize that you're exhausted, you may notice that it's time to take care of your sleeping patterns. What's the quality of your sleep? Maybe you don't enjoy it, what you're doing. Maybe you're overdoing it and you need some time to rest, some time to let go of it, and maybe to go to travel or to just get a new perspective. You see, we always need to fully recognize what is our present situation like from that state of an observer, from the higher self point of view, because that's what helps you to raise your present self into the consciousness of the higher self. The consciousness of the higher self is a state of an observer, but at the same time a state of a creator. Because once you go from a victimized state to a state of an observer, you start living more intentionally, more purposefully. And in that state, you have a clear intention for your next step. And for that, you open yourself to ideas, insights, and inspirations and synchronicities that will be leading you to the right knowledge, right events, right people that will help you to manifest the life that you want to see. So my friends, this is it for today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. Have a beautiful day. Till next time, thanks to all of you for supporting my art in my Etsy shop. I Draw My Passion. You're all truly appreciated. I love you all. Stay beautiful, stay creative, stay magnificent. Until next time, one love.